Hi there, welcome to Frontend Avenue. I am Banda Buthelezi, and today we are talking about HTML tags and CSS syntax. I realized that I did not put that much emphasis on HTML tags on my first tutorial, so I decided that it would be better for everyone if I was to explain HTML tags as well as CSS syntax before I even do more tutorials on both of them. So yeah, let us get started. HTML is quite a number of tags, each tag serving its own purpose, from creating links and tables to adding headings and highlighting text. I would like us to start with the standard HTML tags, and by that I mean the tags that form the basic structure of an HTML document. First up, we have the HTML tag. The HTML tag is regarded as the root element for an HTML document simply because without it, nothing that you do on an HTML document will work. Like, my dude, it's the heart of website. Look at it as the switch of an HTML document. It's what you put when you want your website to turn on, to work. So when you are busy with an HTML document, it's the first, and I mean first tag that you make use of. Everything else follows under it in descending order. Now, as we move on, I just want to tell you that you will notice that even the name of an HTML tag gives you an idea as what sort of purpose it serves when making use of it. Next up, we have the head tag. This tag is where links that will not be displayed on the website will be put. The links that I'm talking about are the ones that you would have to insert when you want to link or import fonts, as well as the one that you will make use of when you're linking your HTML document to a CSS document, which you are going to be using to style that same website. The purpose of HTML is to form the structure of websites. CSS is for styling. So HTML structure, CSS styling. Let's move on. Our third tag is a title tag. This tag is where you would insert the title of your web page. And by that, I mean the one that appears on the tab when you open it on a browser. Now let's move on to our fourth basic tag that forms the basic structure of our HTML document. The fourth tag that I'm talking about is the body tag. Now this tag is used to specify the body of a web page or website. So yeah, let us move on. Right, that was it for our standard HTML tags. And by that, once again, I mean the ones that form the basic structure of an HTML document. These next set of tags, I will be categorizing them based or according to the type of tags that they are. So yeah, let us get started. The first type of tags that we have are what I would call formatting tags, as they are used to format the appearance of the text on your website. The following HTML tags / elements fall under this category. The bold tag, used to make text bold. The italics tag, used to italicize text. The underline tag, used to underline text. The block quotes tag, used to quote text. And lastly, the heading tag, used to create headings. You're probably wondering what that hash is doing there. Well, that hash represents a number. So in HTML, we have 6 heading sizes, 6 being the smallest heading size and 1 being the biggest heading size. So whenever you want to create a heading, you would make use of the heading tag. So instead of putting that hash there, as I said, the one that represents a number, you would say H1, which means you want the biggest heading size in HTML, or H6, which means the smallest heading size of a heading. But one thing I do want to point out, that's the default size. You can make it much more bigger than it is. So you can say H1, which stands for the biggest heading size, And when you're making use of CSS, you can make it to be much more bigger, even to fill up the whole size of your screen. Our next type of tags that we have is table tags, which by its name are used to create tables. The following tags fall under this category. We have the table tag, used to declare a table. We have the table header tag, which is used to create a table header. We have the table row tag, used to create a row. And finally, we have the table data tag, used to specify data that is within table. So you create the table, you insert table headers, you insert table rows, and then you have to insert information. Information, when you insert it, you don't insert it as like plain text. You make use of the table data tag to tell the computer that this is my data for this table. Now, our last type of tags are referred to as semantic tags. They are called semantic tags because they accurately describe the purpose of the element as well as the type of content that will be inside it or inside them. These type of tags allow for shorter, more accessible, and much more cleaner code. I won't go into depth on these ones since, as I said in the beginning of the video, the tags themselves already explain the sort of purpose that they serve, right? Like what they do and the purpose that they serve when you're making use of them. So yeah, the following tags fall under this category. You have the footer tag, used to define the footer of your website. You know what, I'm just going to explain. And then we have the audio tag, used to define or add an audio to the website. We have the image tag, that's also used to insert an image. Video tag, used to insert a video. With the navigation tag, used to define the navigation section of your website, which is like where you're going to be putting all those links to other sections of your website, especially if it's not a one-page website. But even if it is, you will still make use of the navigation, or the nav for short, as we call it. And lastly, the header and main tag. Header being the header tag used to define the header section of your website, and the main tag used to define the main section of your website. That's about it for HTML tags. I know I missed like quite a lot because there are like a few more, but then these are like the standard ones that you need to know. These are the ones that you're probably going to see like a lot on my videos, as well as anyone else's videos who teaches HTML or who teaches people how to create landing pages and all those sort of things. Now we're at CSS. CSS, for those that do not know, stands for Cascading Style Sheets. CSS is used to define styles for your web page, including the design, layouts, variation, and display for different devices and screen sizes. The one thing that you need to understand about CSS before using it is the syntax. The picture displayed shows what we call a CSS room. Right? The picture on the screen has everything that makes up a CSS room. We have a selector, we have a declaration block, we have a CSS property, we have a colon, and lastly, we have a value. Now, don't worry, I will be explaining all of these, right? The selector, the one that is shown in the picture, is the HTML tag that you want to style. So whenever you want to style a certain HTML tag, you'll make use of the selector. That's you basically saying, I'm selecting this tag because I want to style it. So yeah, on the picture there we have the heading size 2, right? And that's our selector. We want to style heading size 2. The declaration blocks contain the declaration. What you see inside those curly braces is what we call a declaration. And each declaration is made up of a CSS property as well as the value of that property, both being separated by a colon. Now on this one, as you can see, there are two declarations. That's why even the word declaration is written twice to indicate that there are two declarations. They do not need to be next to each other. They can be beneath each other. It doesn't look that neat when you make them follow each other instead of putting them beneath, right? Like in descending order. So yes, each declaration, as I said, and I'm saying it once again, is made up of a CSS property as well as the value of that property, both being separated by a colon. Our property in this instance is a color. The color is our property. And the property is basically what we want to do. So we want to add color to our heading size 2 tag. Our value is what? Is what type of color it is. That's our value. And on the picture, it's green. Now, as a whole, it's a declaration, right? And it is a CSS property as well as a value. A property being the color, value being the type of color that we want to make use of. Please forgive me for the barking. I've been trying to find a very quiet place, but then the dog just keeps on making noise more and more. I hope you understand. Now let me move on. Declarations are opened and closed using curly braces. Those curly braces are called declaration blocks. You open them and you close them. And you do the same thing on HTML. When you open an HTML document, an HTML tag, excuse me, you close an HTML tag. Otherwise, it does not work. Open, close, open, close. It's like that. Thank you all for tuning in. I really hope to see you more. Before you leave though, please do not forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. I also have a podcast called I Am Tech, where I talk about tech related issues. The link to the podcast can be found in the description below. See you next time.